Hey, Heather.
Hey, Steven.
You know what we should do?
What should we do?
You know what we should do?
Ooh, say it.
We should get into it! That's Heather.
That's Steven.
Let's get into
Strange News of the Week. Ooh. I feel like we do this every episode, no matter what it is. We're talking about sunshine and butterflies.
Ooh. We're talking about floor mats for your car. Ooh. We're just, we're just that exciting and that entertaining. Heather.
It's been a while.
It has.
We're sorry, friends.
We've
We're
had
sorry.
a couple of weeks off. Things have been a little busy.
Crazy.
So tell me what you've been up to.
Well, I will delve into details at a later date. However, I just got back from my very, very first trip across the pond. I went to Ireland.
That was the first time you've ever been across the pond at all?
Yep.
I can't say anything. I've never been anywhere. But
And when I was on the planes, I was never at a window seat, so I'm a little sad I didn't get to look and see certain things. But I went to Ireland. I was there I flew in Saturday morning and I left Tuesday morning. So a couple of days. Ireland is never somewhere that I've had on a list to travel. Not that it's bad. I just never was I'm a beach. I love to me a true vacation is
water-based.
Yeah, water-based.
Not necessarily
pool.
The hills are alive.
Yeah. So Ireland, or at least Dublin, it was really cool. It was in the main area I was at near St. Stephen's. There were a lot of pubs and a lot of, things. And I wanted so bad to go into a pub, but I knew, knowing me and how I gravitate to people with good vibes.
You'd be arrested.
Oh, I would have been arrested 1,000,000%. I would have been sent back to America. And everyone was so nice. I called an Uber at one point to pick me up from the shopping place. And he was like, yeah, I know that we said here, but can you go to this street? And I'm looking up and I'm I don't know how to read these street signs. Or not here. Help me.
Oh my God.
And so he's talking me through it. And then I finally saw him and I was man, in America, they would have canceled my shit. They would have been nope.
Oh, she's drunk. No, we're not doing this.
Drunk. But no, it's really beautiful. And I keep forgetting that Ireland is an island essentially. And so is it an island? It's surrounded by water. Peninsula.
That's three. Peninsulas are three sides of water.
Ireland has water. And so
oh my God, Florida has water.
I know,
oh
but it was
God.
so pretty and lots of hills and mountains and stuff. And I told Jason, I was I definitely want to go back and spend, I don't know if I do a week in Dublin. Well, no, you need a week.
Were you in
travel.
Dublin?
Yeah, I was in
Dublin.
Dublin.
Okay.
Yeah. I was in Dublin and then I was in.
What is Dublin known for?
Great. Pubs? It's the I think it's the capital of Ireland. I think it's the capital.
It's the only Ireland name I know. So I'm assuming, Mississippi education.
Yes. And they drive on the opposite side of the roads. That was the first. No, I take that back. I saw it in one of the Caribbean countries I was in, but I think it was the Virgin Islands because it's the British Virgin Islands. Yeah. So that was interesting to see the driver on what is our passenger side.
Yeah, that would freak me out. Every once in a while, I see somebody around here who has a car that is from overseas, and so the driver's side
I've
is
never
on the wrong,
seen one
and
here.
It's a mind fuck. I'm
yeah, when I went to get in the Uber, I get in the back seat, and the first thing I go to look at the driver's side, and I was
self-driving car.
Oh, yeah, I know, right? I was yeah. So, and then coming back from Ireland, I had a 23-hour travel day. It was the longest travel day I've ever had in my entire life.
I'm exhausted just thinking about what is it about traveling that you're not doing anything but sitting? But why is it so tiring?
I was, and luckily I had the next 5 days with no plans. And when I tell you that sleep I had on Wednesday when I felt, oh my God, just to be in my own bed and so
I don't
good.
know. There's something about a hotel bed that just hits.
Now that's, so you are 1,000,000,000%. And the hotel beds in Ireland were top tier. No AC. I stayed in 2 different hotels. No AC in either.
Wait.
Yeah. AC is not a thing in most of Ireland.
I know that about, Bonk has told us about that, but what was the temperature outside?
It wasn't bad. So it was in the low, it was in mid 60s.
Nope, need air.
I know. And luckily there was a fan in the room. So I had that fan on 24/7. And the hotel had windows and it was please do not open these windows. Bitch, I opened those windows the second I walked in the room. I was what are you going to do? So I opened the
Because
windows.
you
and the
seen
breeze was
something
nice.
that kind of looked like a castle, right?
Yes, yeah, it was an old military school and like Freemason thing. Yeah, it was, but the energy was good. I didn't feel any I didn't hear any kids laughing at 3 a.m. But yeah, no EC, and trying to think what else. I had a lot of really delicious like treats. Like there were these little like chocolate balls with like graham cracker crust in it, and I should have bought like 16 of those. They were so good.
You brought me nothing.
I know.
She brought me nothing, ladies and gentlemen.
well,
Nothing.
Jason loves magnets, so I got him like a little Dublin magnet. I hate tourist shops. I hate them, and I hate like the novelty stuff. Maybe it's because we live here.
Yeah.
But like Jason loves them. We're the opposite. Like he loves tacky tourist stuff, and I cannot stand
Certain tacky tourist stuff I can get down on.
Yeah,
like, when
it depends.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Not just like, oh, here's a keychain with a dolphin and a
Correct.
flamingo on it with your name.
Correct. Yeah.
No, I want
yeah.
something obscure. I want something to say bitch one, bitch two. Like,
But I will say to the people of America who are listening to this and watching this.
actually, I think we have some listeners in Ireland.
Oh, do we?
I think we do.
And I think I made a bunch of new friends in Ireland. So hello, new friends. I told them to listen and watch the podcast. So hi, new friends.
We're waiting for those numbers to go up.
Hey. So airport lounges, I'm telling you, the fucking tea. And growing up, never really, like we traveled a lot because my mom was a flight attendant. So we went to like St. Louis, all these places. And so I think one time we went, actually, we did go in a lounge one time and Meatloaf was in the lounge.
No.
So random.
You're not doing anything.
But yeah, lounges, I mean, you pay like what? Anywhere between $50 to $75. You have all day access. There's snacks and
I have
food.
spent more on an Uber.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I was in the airport in Toronto for 7 hours, and I would have spent that much money going to a restaurant to sit down and eat and
Chick-fil-A or some
yeah.
shit.
So the lounge, it's unlimited booze. They have soda, they have water, they have juice. They had I love a good tomato bisque, and so they had a tomato bisque soup that was so fire. And like spring rolls. So it's like all these little snackies you can just like get up and grab.
Come on, tapas.
Right. So like that made the 7 hours a hell of a lot better. And I was watching the Olympics the whole time, and it was perfect timing because it was gymnastics. So I got to see
yes.
oh gosh.
You got to see Simone
Simone, my
just
queen. Yes. Oh, I
wipe
love her.
the floor with people.
Have you seen her documentary on Netflix?
I have not yet.
It is so fucking good.
not.
I watched it on the
Because
plane.
I remember that we talked briefly about the controversy earlier
Yeah.
about how old teammates who are not still in the game, Michaela,
Yeah.
talking shit and calling people lazy and whatnot.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing?
and I'm like, well, first of all, how is that lazy? Yes,
Yeah.
they want to do a little TikTok dance. Great, let them celebrate.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck?
and it's authenticity too. And what happens with so for those who may not know, there is a gymnast, Michaela Skinner, who insulted the U.S.
She
Olympics.
was best known for the meme for the not pursed girl.
No.
Is that not her?
No, so people got confused. There's Michaela Skinner, who's the bitch, and Michaela Maroney.
Oh.
Michaela Maroney was the one who made the face with like Obama.
I've been thinking it's the wrong
Me
person
too.
this
I
whole
did it
time. I am
first.
so sorry.
No, I did too at first. And I remember thinking that is not Michaela Maroney behavior because she's really cool and Simone always talks about her. So I was like, that's really, is she okay?
So who is this other hoe?
She was like an alternate or something on the team. And so
So she was there?
I don't know if she ever went to an Olympics. Maybe
She was just on the U.S. team?
Yeah, something like that. And so Michaela Maroney had to put out a statement. It was like, guys, it was not me, but Michaela or whatever fucked around and found out. Like it was great. But it's just, oh my gosh, I had a train of thought. It was, my gosh. It was, authenticity. So women like this Michaela lady probably grow up, and I hate to stereotype, but based on the comments she made, I think I can take a pretty good guess what her character is like. And so it's the family where it's like, you have to be perfect, all American. We love Jesus and we don't have sex, but like very
Drop dead gorgeous.
yes, like you can't be yourself. So when women like that see other women who are living their best lives authentically, like Jordan Childs, who still has nails and has gold grills.
Is that the runner?
No. She's one of the Olympic or the gymnastics girls. Did you see the video I posted with Snoop Dogg where they were dancing?
Yeah.
She was the main one.
Oh, okay.
So-
And I'm sorry, just to stop, but Snoop Dogg
love
like
him.
fully funding like the water polo team because they were trying to raise money and
Flavor
shit.
Flav.
and Flavor Flav. Like,
Yeah. I
insanity.
love
like,
it. Black
I
men
wish.
stepping up.
Well, I just wish more celebrities to be like, you know what?
Yeah.
Because we talked about this when we talked about the Olympics. We're like,
They don't
okay,
get paid.
you don't get paid, and there's no guarantee that you're going to get some kind of deal or
Yep.
endorsement. So you work your whole life to tumble, and then it's
Literally.
over. Then what?
What? Yeah. And it's like there was a girl on, I can't remember what team she was on, but she tweeted or X'd, whatever the fuck you call it now. She was like, I'm in the Olympics, and I can't pay my rent because I'm over here and I can't work. And was it Flava Flav and Venus Williams' husband both saw the tweet and they're like, we got your, like, they probably paid her rent for like the whole year. And I'm like, see, like, where are the stories like that?
I pay my rent.
I'm short on my mortgage. No, I just paid it. But yeah, Simone and that whole team, they're just really inspiring, and it's really cool to see like women living like authentically and they're themselves.
Yeah.
And people like Michaela, instead of being like, hey, how can I get like that? How can you help me
You just try
find
to
my
take
inner confidence? You shit on their parade, and it's like, now you look dumb. And of course now she's playing the victim. It's like when you're online and let's say you're going, you might know a little too well about this, but if you're going back and forth with somebody and then they turn it around and make themselves the victim.
Oh God,
And
yes.
it's like, well, don't yell at me, I didn't know, or you didn't tell me, or blah, blah, blah. And it's like,
What was my favorite thing?
oh,
Nobody ever told me
purple,
that black people had problems
Oh,
from
yeah.
the infamous.
hot fucking mess.
Like, I'm sorry, sir. What? Nobody told you?
It's not anybody's responsibility to tell you.
But also, you have eyes?
Correct, yes. So, yeah, and on the, gosh, I feel like I was on 55 flights. I was really, in reality, going there, I went from Orlando to Philly, Philly to Dublin. Then I went from Dublin to Toronto, Toronto to Orlando. And I watched so much shit. I started the new Ghostbusters movie and I wasn't feeling it, so I switched.
The Frozen.
Yeah.
Okay, so I saw that one, but I'm missing the one before that.
That
and I
was way
can't
better.
find it streaming yet.
Afterlife, I mean, I only watched a little bit of Frozen Empire, but Afterlife I loved. But this one, I was like, I'm not feeling it.
It was all right.
Yeah. So I watched a little bit of that. I watched 3 episodes of the new Dallas Cowboys cheerleader show. I used to watch it
Everybody's-
when it was on.
Yeah.
It was great, especially if you've been through auditions and shit. It was interesting to watch. So like,
Trauma.
right. So I watched that. I watched Nope for like the 50. I love Nope.
Nope is good.
I love
Nope is so good.
Nope. So I watched Nope. I watched the Simone Biles documentary. I watched a documentary about Tiger Woods that was really fucking interesting. It's on Max. It's called, get ready for it, Tiger.
I was hoping it was gonna be like Tiger Beat, like off of
Tiger
like,
Beat,
the
Tiger
magazine.
King. Yeah, so that Ireland trip, I almost said Italy, I wish. The Ireland trip, like, encompassed my life for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. So now I'm like back to normal. I finished my fucking guest room.
I need pictures. I need proof.
I finished. I painted
I
all
need
the
it.
walls.
I need proof.
I got a new vanity. I still need to throw out some old stuff, but like
For the record, this was supposed to be done 6 weeks ago.
it sure was, yes. So I got my new vanity in. It looks so good. So I've been busy with that. And that's been it. What have you been up to, Steven?
Not in Ireland. Left here alone to work. Yeah, no, we closed Seussical this past weekend for the kids. They did an amazing job.
Ooh.
Like, I was very proud. I was very happy. And so we're trying to like plan out what's next and seeing what's coming. So I've applied for a couple of different shows.
Okay.
So once we get them approved, I can announce that and all
Okay.
that fun stuff.
So you don't want to announce, do you want to give us a hint? Like a
Well,
slight hint?
I can give you a hint.
Okay.
It's for one of the kids' shows. We're trying to get Descendants.
Oh,
Because
cute.
it's
Okay.
quite a popular thing,
Yes.
especially with the Rise of Red that just came out. Kids
I feel
are
like-
apparently obsessed with.
I feel like I've seen that entire movie through like clips on Facebook.
Oh God, yeah.
And the girl who plays Red, I did not realize is Kylie Cantrell, who my friend Valerie, I feel like maybe you've met Valerie in passing.
I met Valerie.
Valerie Ortiz, she's
Yeah.
like really pretty. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was on a show with Kylie and Kylie played her daughter. So they're super close because I kept seeing Valerie commenting on her post. And I was like, does she love this movie? And I forgot that they were in the show together. So she's like, this is my baby who's now gone on to
Aw.
this thing. And that girl, Kylie Cantrell, she can fucking dance. I follow her on
Yeah.
Instagram now. I was like, damn, bitch.
Yeah.
So
I fell asleep during the movie. But I did, once upon a time, work with young Hades that was in the movie.
Oh, Anthony,
We did,
yeah.
we did, funny enough, we did Play in a Day. 2011.
I
I
thought you
don't
were
know.
going to say 20 years ago. I was like, well, he's like a
2011.
baby.
But funny thing about Play in a Day is that Imagine is helping produce the new Play in a Day for this next year.
That's
So on
cool.
August 17th, 16th, I should say, we're going to have the meeting, pick the teams. For those who don't know, Play in a Day is basically this fundraising opportunity where everybody gets a theme, and then writers and directors and actors all team up, and then they have to write and produce like a 10-minute play in less than 24 hours. I've done it as an actor. It's so much fun, and I'm really looking forward to like having it in our space.
That's
I think we're
cool.
gonna have like 8 different teams.
Okay.
So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay. I love that.
Also, we're very close to getting our 501(c) number for official
Nonprofit
status. We need a sidebar about that later because
Yes.
I need to talk to you because Stephanie Sacro came to see the show this weekend with her
love
daughter.
her, yes.
Yeah, and I was like, oh God, she's like, you know what? When you have that official number, let me know. And I was like,
Okay.
and we'll talk about that. But
Yes.
outside of that, I have just been trying to keep myself sane.
Hey.
It's getting to be spooky season in
Ooh,
Florida,
yes.
which lasts forever.
I wore this to work today.
It's
People
the
were like,
Exorcist believer shirt.
I was like, it's a tied into our place of employment. So I was like, it's a work shirt.
It's fine.
It's a work
And
shirt.
Who cares?
Yeah, I don't
Who
care.
cares?
So speaking of Stephanie Sacro, who hopefully is listening to this, I love her so much. And she and I were we in Kansas City together? Yes. We've been to Kansas City and Houston together. And so,
Jealous.
Right. When we were in Kansas City, we were at NSBE, which is the National Society of Black Engineers Conference. And
Is that where you
so-
broke Mario?
No, I broke Mario at the Society of Women Engineers
Oh.
Conference. Which Stephanie knew. The next time you see Stephanie Sacro, just say, by the way, Heather told me about Mario, and she will probably die laughing because she was there for the whole thing. I was nail gluing it. Sorry,
Story for
Mario.
another day.
Yes. So, at NSBE, of course, because it's Black people, it's the start of the conference was wild, like so much fun, like marching bands and all of this. And then they're like, "Please rise."
Were they from HBCUs?
HBCUs, yes,
Yep.
most majority, yeah.
Oh my God, they're marching bands.
And they had a troop of little Black girls who were like dancing, and they were so cute. But they were like, "All right, please rise for the national Black anthem, lift every voice and sing." So I should probably have my Black card revoked because I think I know the words to like 3/4 of the song. Like, if you gave me 5 to 10 minutes,
Way down
I
in
could sing
Louisiana,
it.
down in New Orleans. Way down in Louisiana, down in
Listen.
New Orleans. Way
Now,
down in
are you
Louisiana,
familiar?
down in New Orleans.
Are you familiar with Lift Every Voice and Sing?
I know. I've heard the song. I'm a choreographer. I don't know the words to any
Yes.
song.
So Stephanie stands up and she proceeds to sing every motherfucking word of the song. And I was
She looks like somebody who can sing too.
right? And I was like, "Ma'am," and she was like, "I grew up with Black kids. It was my favorite song growing up." And
God, why do I love her more now?
Laughed so she knew every single word. And we, when we were in Houston, we went to this rooftop bar and they were playing like jams. And she's like, "Girl, if they play SWV, I'm
Oh my
gonna
God.
lose it." And they
Mr.
played SWV,
Voices.
and she's like, so, I love her so much. I love you, Stephanie. Biggest Beyonce fan on the planet.
Oh, really?
Oh my God, she's a massive Beyonce fan, like massive.
I'm not surprised by that because Beyonce is just
ain't
a
no Taylor
national
Swift girl.
treasure.
Yeah.
And again, I know you hate on Taylor Swift, but you really like she brings a lot of joy to a lot of people,
She
and
does.
I feel like she deserves that in her own. Like you can still hate her on a little bit, but you need to not hate her on the whole like
I think
powerful woman.
No,
She's
and that's the thing,
technically
yes.
as talented, even though it might not be your cup of tea.
Yes, I will give her that. I just have a hard time like for me with singers, and I know like I don't necessarily connect with like Britney Spears, right? But like I see women that are like, "Oh my God, it's so relatable," this and that. I'm like, she's a billionaire. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what's
And so
relatable?
there's nothing relatable about her. She gives me
You know what's relatable?
privilege.
I bust the windows out your car.
So like if you look at
That's relatable.
right? So if you look at Sabrina Carpenter, who opened for Taylor Swift. Sabrina Carpenter, I fucking love this girl. Like she's espresso.
No, I think I just saw a clip of her. Maybe it was opening for Taylor. I don't
Yes.
know. And she talks to the audience, and the daughter's like,
Oh,
"I'm
yeah,
here
yeah,
with
yeah.
my mom,"
Yep,
and my mom doesn't know that she slept with, or that I know that she slept with my boyfriend.
And she was like,
and then she
"Whoa!"
just falls over on the stage. I'm like,
Yes, that's And what I love about Sabrina Carpenter is that she's authentically herself, and she is like, yep, I love to have sex, and I will sing about it in my songs, and I don't care. I love big dicks. Like, she is just like out there, and like I respect that. I'm like, yes, please.
Yeah.
We need more of that. Taylor's not like that. Like, she
No.
curses in her songs and stuff, but like she's not a girl.
she's not vulgar.
Correct. She's not a girl that I would want to chill with. Like, she doesn't give me girls vibes, and like she will, for instance, Charlie XCX had her big album, and Taylor was like, I'm going to put out my album, but with one more song on it. So it knocked Charlie off the chart. Billie Eilish comes out with her album, and Taylor was like, I'm going to do one more song, knocked Billie Eilish off the chart. And I get that it's competition and stuff, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know if I would want to do that to my fans. I would just be like, hey, like a month later, I'm going to put out all those B-side tracks on one album so you can have it all at once, instead of, because basically people had to buy the album like 4 times.
But they already were going to.
Yes,
Yeah, there's a whole game that people play.
She's tapped
like-
into a market. Like, she's tapped into a fucking goldmine market.
Oh.
And like, kids love her. And I will say, I feel bad for her in the sense that she will always be held in this position that kind of Britney was in for a little bit and then broke out of it, of like the role model, because she's giving the bracelets to the little girls, but then she's singing about like, I'm vigilante shit and all of these adult topics, but her fan base is mostly children. And I don't know how I would feel as, she's 34, which is wild. I don't know how I would feel as a 34, like now at 41, if my fan base was all children. It'd be different if I was doing a kid show. But if I was a pop singer, I would not want my fan base to be made of entirely like children.
Well, I don't think it's entirely children, because I know we have at the place of employment so many people who are Swifties,
Obsessed.
like where they play the game where they're like, follow her on tour and watch the videos, and there's like this game that you basically pick out what she's gonna wear for what song and what props or guitars they're gonna have, and you get points if you get it right.
If it's right,
like,
yeah, I have seen that. Or like what B-side song she's gonna sing.
like what order you get certain points
Yeah.
for this, and I was like, wow.
And at the
like-
end of the day, because somebody tried to come for me online, and it was another black girl, which was funny. She was like, basically, like, why would you, she's a woman and you should support women. I'm like, I do. Listen, I get what she's doing. For me, it's hard to relate. Heather, it's hard to relate because like her music to me all sounds the same. Except her first country album was fire, and I still love it. But
I think that's the first thing I've ever heard you say nice about her.
I know I do
Wow.
really love her first country album, because it was country, and I love country music. But to each their own. Like, I've given up. I'm like, I don't need to post online as much about it. Like, every now and then I'll get in like a little but I'm like,
hayride.
you know what? Like, it is what it is. There's probably people who are like, Casey Musgraves can't sing, and I love my girl, but sometimes she struggles. So,
I mean, okay, honestly, if you think about it, people struggle in singing. Like, it is an instrument. You can blow your pipes out. You can have an off day. You should never expect everybody to be perfect all the time,
No.
especially when they're in that kind of thing.
And it's why I don't understand why certain artists will record songs. This is such like a musician thing. So they'll record a song in a certain key. So like Jessica Simpson, I wanna love you forever. Song is so high. Chapel Roan, Good Luck Babe. You can't kiss a high. It's so high. When they perform it live,
They take it down.
lower it. And it's like, why not just record it lower in that key? So then it, because it's, to me, if you're going to record it in that key, you should sing it live in that key.
Right.
And there are some singers like Christina Aguilera, she will never lower her keys.
Oh, God, no.
Adele's lowered keys. But it's just wild to me, like Chappelle. Chapel Roan. That's what I used to call her, Chappelle Roan. Chapel Roan. That song is so high, and when she performs it, it's like, you can kiss like completely low. And it's like,
God. Well, she didn't want to blow out her voice. I
No.
get it. I
Yeah.
get it.
So, shall we get into some weird news stories?
So, speaking of weird, that is basically kind of what we came up with. We were like, what are we going to talk about today? And then we're like, And then the Republican Party just being weird and how butthurt they are for being called weird. I'm not weird. You're weird. I'm not weird. You're weird. And so we thought we would take a little deep dive into some news. So
From
what
the
do we have?
window to Tim Walls. I love Tim Walls. He's my new favorite. I would give him Universal tickets. Any day.
America's uncle.
America. I would say he's America's dad. He's got that energy.
Well, yeah, he's got dad energy, but
Joe Biden has uncle energy because he's the uncle. Or
got
George
grandpa.
W. You're correct. Joe Biden is grandpa energy. George W. Bush is uncle energy. 1,000,000,000%. He is the uncle where you get him drunk at a barbecue and he will tell you
everything.
You know, if you were at a barbecue with George W. Bush and he got drunk off some Coors Lights, he would be like, "Hey, you know them aliens? They're real.
Well, we already covered that.
JFK, we shot him."
He's still alive. He's going to come back and help re-elect Trump.
All right. So we went to the good old Associated Press website, and here are the weird stories of this week. Okay. The first one is drones warned New York City residents about storm flooding. The Spanish translation drew mockery. Okay. Let's see what the Spanish translation was. Roughly a quarter. Okay. The city couldn't. Google translation. Wait, full text of the message in Spanish. Are you going to tell me?
This is going
okay,
great.
this is too long. Okay, forget the drone. The second one is chicken parade prompts changes to proposed restrictions in Iowa's capital city. A chicken parade.
I would love a chicken parade.
So, and it starts with Iowa's capital city is establishing a new pecking order for backyard chickens and roosters after some of their diehard fans paraded around City Hall with some of their flocks.
Oh my God. So when Colleen used to live 7 houses down from me, she had pet chickens. And I was responsible for naming 2 of the original.
What'd you name them?
Tasty Chicken. And then Yumi, but it kind of looks like Yummy. But Yumi hated me. But so cute.
Lindsay, who was our guest last episode, she and I were talking literally yesterday about cute pet names. And I was saying that is one way to get me to lose my mind is pets that are named after humans.
Cute pun.
Right? So like my tattoo girl, her cat's name is Steven.
There's enough Stevens in this world.
Right?
Stop.
So like I love when animals have like genuinely human names. And I also love when they have names that are inanimate objects. So the reason the conversation started is because at work we have somebody who just started and they have a service dog. And the service dog has their own name tag. And the dog's name is Donut.
Donut touch me. I'm working.
And when I was cultivated in the Ratchet Cabbage Patch before I was born,
oh my God.
When they were putting me together, they were like, well, we're not going to give her the ability to cry at things most people cry at, but she is going to cry when she sees really cute things. So when I see things that are really cute, it literally overwhelms my sensory system and I just short out.
Oh my God.
And so on Meet the, or whatever the Irwin show is, like Bindi and Robert, they always name the animals at the zoo the most random names. And so Bindi was like, this is a wombat. His name is Minibus.
This is my rat named Car Park.
I could feel the tears welling in my eyes because I was like, his name is Minibus and he's a wombat. And they're like, this is our other wombat. His name is Fried Pickles.
Oh my God.
I mean,
it sounds like I would name them, honestly.
Right? And like, it warms my heart so much. So Yumi and Tasty Chicken.
Oh my God.
So
like, what do you think that looks like, though? Like, if they're parading around their chicken? Like, is it... Like, it almost sounds like it could be a protest.
Are they playing instruments?
It
says here, the new rules should allow roosters, but will require the licensing of chickens and set up a process for dealing with nuisance animals that can't contain their cock-a-doodle-doos.
Okay, so...
Who wrote this?
I don't know, but can I tell you, like, for a while, in my neighborhood full of peafowl, there was a white rooster that showed up one day.
Oh.
And I loved him. Aww. He was so pretty. I named him Chanticleer from Rock-a-Doodle. And then one day, the lady who lives behind us came knocking and beating on the door. Mm-hmm. And she goes, bum, 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 bum. I'm like, hi. She's like, is that your rooster? I said, no. None of these birds are mine. They just live here.
Big white cock.
I'm like, ah. And she was like, well, it's keeping me awake. And I'm like,
what do you want? Like,
ask it to stop. I'm not in charge of this thing. It's just in my yard right now. But I think she had him killed.
No.
Mm-hmm. It was at the same time that the albino female peacock was also went missing.
What's going on? All right. So what else we got? We talked about a chicken parade. Video shows dog chewing on a lithium iron battery and sparking a house fire in Oklahoma. A dog chomping on a lithium iron battery sparked a house fire in Oklahoma, and video of the moment is now being used by a fire department to show the potential dangers of those batteries.
So the dog burned down the house?
Yeah. From
You better fucking not. Like
a lithium ion battery. I'm pretty sure that's what's in a phone. So the dog
Yeah.
probably got a phone and hold on.
I mean,
now
he
I
was
need to see if the dog lived, because if the
he
dog
better
lived,
have. We're gonna cancel
the
this
dog
podcast.
pulls back. Okay, so apparently it says the footage taken from the home and posted last week on the Tulsa Fire Department's Facebook page shows the dog gnawing on its choice of a chew toy atop one of the two cushions set on the floor of a living room. Another dog can be seen on a couch and a cat on the floor as the dog bites down and sparks start to shoot from the battery. This is so on point for dogs. The dog pulls back and soon the cushions are ablaze. Both dogs watch the growing fire at one point.
Yeah, I could just imagine the dog be like, "Well, look at this."
And the dog was the battery the dog was chewing was intended for cell phones, but the two dogs and the cat escaped through a pet door. No injuries.
I feel like that's some dumb dog. That's like, boom. Oh, sparks. Oh, let me just look at it
can't.
for a while.
Okay.
That's like that's what I think about. Like, what was it for a while? It was vapes that were exploding in people's pockets, and I think there was a cell phone that was.
Yes.
I think it was.
Cell phones have exploded on planes before. They've had to land planes because cell phones. Because if you think about it, there are times I had to switch chargers recently because the charger I use by my bed, like I went to move the plug and that shit was fucking scalding, and I was like, yeah, no, we need to take that out. No, we do not want a fire. All right, you ready for this one?
Oh, bring it on.
Well, it's somebody died. It's not, well, whatever. One dead and dozens sickened after eating roasted eel from a Japanese department store.
Wait, I'm sorry. A department store? Like, what are you getting?
One
Slacks
person
and eel? Like, what the fuck?
One person has died and nearly 150 others have been sickened after eating grilled eel prepared by a restaurant chain and sold at a department store near Tokyo.
Don't eat eel. They're gross.
I love seafood. I would never eat roasted eel.
They're like
ever.
Sea snakes. No. Why?
Macy's has roasted eel.
Come on, Dillard's. Come over and get some
Ew.
swordfish from
Gross.
Dillard's next to the socks.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
The fuck?
Chicken wings advertised as boneless can have bones, the Ohio Supreme Court decides.
Burn it down.
So let me get this straight. In a country where we are dealing with gun violence and racism and reproductive rights being thrown
Attacked.
to shit, the Ohio, can you imagine coming to work and they're like, hey, so today, here's what's on the docket. Chicken wings.
No, I got one better for you because,
God.
okay, so I watched a ridiculous amount of footage
Court
from
cams.
not just court cams, but of the House and Congress and
Oh,
just
yeah.
all of the different hearings that they have. I watch it a lot. And you know what's very popular right now? Gas stoves.
What?
Republicans are butt ass hurt about gas stoves for
What,
some
like gas
reason.
stoves going away or being prevalent?
You know, I don't honestly didn't really pay attention
Probably
to
going
it.
away.
I think what it was is they were trying to regulate the stoves, so there is less indoor pollution to help people be safer. And they're like, no. And so like their whole thing right now, like, yeah, kids are getting mowed down by AR-15s, but gas stoves. Like priorities, people,
It's like
priorities.
that guy.
Dumpy Don?
Yeah, him.
Dumpy diapers?
He was talking shit about electric cars. He's like, yeah, you know, Elon Musk is my friend, but electric cars, they're just not it. And it's like,
But now he's all about it because I have to because he gave me money and he said it like that. He was like, now I have to. He endorsed me, so electric's good. Like, dude, pick a lane.
I hate it here.
I do too.
Okay. What else do we got? Oscar Mayer Wienermobile flips onto its side after crash along suburban Chicago highway. And there's a picture of
What? Like, what hit it to make it? I mean, first of all, that thing can't be easy to drive.
And here's the art. Who is writing for the Associated Press? An Oscar Mayer
An Oscar minor.
An Oscar
He's under 18.
An Oscar Mayer Wienermobile got into a pickle on a Chicago highway.
Stop. Cancel it already.
Police say one of Oscar Mayer's hot dog
I couldn't relish to think of this any other way.
better catch up with the story. Ended up flipped on its side. All right, cool. What else do we got?
But like, I want to know how though. Like, have you ever witnessed a car being like on its side?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there was, oh God, 1825, and I was coming home from college
In your covered wagon.
in my covered wagon, and I was driving down the beach because like I would come down one highway and you could take the beach road all the way back basically to
This
my
is
house
in Mississippi?
in Mississippi.
Okay.
And then this little car, like, I guess I don't even remember what happened, but they hit a service van, like a special needs service thing, and that thing went right over onto the side, and I was like, holy fuck, like right in front of me. I was like, this is bonkers. And you see an old woman who is standing basically in the windshield banging to try to get out. Meanwhile, there is a guy who is in a wheelchair in the back. But luckily his chair was secured, so he was just leaning over like in the back. And like, you know what I tried to do?
Oh God, what?
I tried to flip the van back over.
Well, you hear those stories about when people get adrenaline and
Yeah.
they're like, oh no.
Yeah, I sure enough did. I tried to flip that van back over.
I actually saw right before I left for Ireland, I was going down Pine Hills Road. And for those who are not familiar with Pine Hills Road, it is like Mario Kart every day. Like when I go to work, it is so stressful.
Turtles everywhere.
Like it's turtles, mushrooms, all of it. So it's just a lot of winding and people doing stuff. So I was coming home from work and I was going down Pine Hills Road. And there's also a lot of like really, I mean, it's everywhere, but like especially there, a lot of these younger kids that like to race their cars in like fucking broad daylight. And it's like, you're on Pine Hills Road, Vin Diesel, like calm down. So I see this weaving in and out, like right on people's asses. And I was
Stresses me out.
so, Jason and I are like old people when we drive. We're like, fuck that guy. He's going to get in a crash. So sure enough, I was like, look at this instant karma. He was weaving back and forth, and this guy stopped to like let somebody in, whatever, and you see the car. Poof! Little kid, rear-ended someone. The guy who he rear-ended had like no damage to his trunk. He must have had a good car, but the kid was racing accordion. And he was fine, but it's like, why the fuck? It's like 5 o'clock.
Yeah, just don't be an
You
asshole.
can't speed at 5 o'clock on any major road
Like,
in
who are
Orlando.
Who are you trying to impress?
Yeah,
Like, I feel like
it's like, where are you going? Like, do you have to take a shit? Like, what is happening?
I mean, if I had to take a
Me
shit,
too,
I
I
definitely
would.
would go
Me too.
nuts on that.
Yes. Okay. What else do we got? A lot of this stuff is random. Oh, no, that's terrible.
I mean, that's the whole idea of this
I know, but it's like
episode.
frozen treats, cold showers, and lots of ice. Florida Zoo works to protect animals from summer heat. How is that a weird news story? Like,
Because apparently Florida cares more about animals than people.
I just realized we haven't filmed a podcast since there was a bear in my house.
Oh.
So let me tell you about how this all happened. So on our ADT cameras, when they pick up stuff in the yard, ADT is so advanced now that it can tell the difference between a person, a vehicle, an inanimate object, like all these things. So it'll be like, there's an animal on your camera, and typically it's like a cat. And so, or a raccoon or a possum, like anything that's big enough to get motion.
Bigger than a bread box.
Yeah. And so, we're just chilling one night and we see like animal on the camera, and we were just kind of like looking, because sometimes we see if they're like stray cats or whatever. So Jason, I hear him go, I think there's a bear. And I was like, no, there's not. No way. So we look on the security camera. Sure enough, there was a bear.
Because your old place when you were at the condo
Yeah.
that was next to the golf course had
Yep.
bears, right?
Sure
like
did.
on the
It has
regular.
everything. Bears, coyotes, all sorts like of animals.
This is in the middle of Florida, y'all.
Yeah.
Orlando. Like,
And, like,
where?
we live,
How?
And where we live, there's cars all the time. Like, there are wooded areas. And what's funny is that, do you remember when I think it was Mardi Gras, and we were at the bar window, and the girl we found out lived like down the road from me, and she was saying that she and her husband saw a bear.
Yes.
And so there's woods around there, but it's not really easily accessible. So the bear like came across the driveway and it went out towards the street. So Jason's like,
I was just looking for some picnic baskets.
right? And Jason's like, it's probably in the tree. So like we get in our car and we like back it out of the garage and we sit in the driveway with all the lights off and Jason's got a flashlight. He's like looking up. But
I would have went outside without a car and I would have tried to chase it and tried to tame it. I would have tried to hug it.
Oh my God, it was so cute. And it wasn't like super big.
It was like a baby bear.
It was like a teenage bear. It was like a teenage bear. But we've always joked, we're like, when are we going to get a bear? When's the bear coming? And so our dreams. And
we
then
just have to learn not to kidnap a bear like we accidentally might have done Biscuit the turtle.
Biscuit. I hope he's okay.
I'm sure he's great.
I know. And right before we got all the shit from the tropical storm, I was outside like a mad woman because I saw like 3 stray cats and I was like, oh, maybe I can get them on the patio so they're safe. And they were
not having it. 2
ran off and the other was talking. And I was like, come. And then it took off.
Don't you get mad? Like, I'm trying to help you.
I'm literally trying to shelter you from the storm.
Yes.
Because you're about to get mollywopped with rain and wind. Just come on the patio and then we'll let you loose. Like, don't you want protection? And what's funny is Mama, when she was still a stray, technically, we had her in the patio. And it was like a monsoon that came out of nowhere. And we were like, bring her inside. We're like, come in. And at the time, we were just calling her like Kitty. We're like, come inside, Kitty. And she's like just howling. And we finally had to like pick her up and get her inside the house. But she's still terrified of rain. Mama, terrified. She's traumatized.
From the streets, yo.
She's a street hoe.
She's from the streets.
Yes. So that would, well, let me see if there's anything more.
I had a bear.
We should have trapped it and kept it. Yogi.
I still I'm waiting for an animal like from nature to like what do they call it? Imprint on me. Like I want like baby peacocks to like just be obsessed with me. I want a raccoon to be a best friend. Like I want
God. You want a pet
raccoon. I don't love you, Cupid. I love you. But like I just want like a wild I see these things about like wild like parakeets or whatnot just befriending people and moving in. I'm like, why can't that be me?
The little baby monkeys that just like hang out everywhere.
That rob people.
Yes. Okay. So this says Detroit's giant slide is back. There will probably be fewer bruises this time. Ready, set, go. A 6-lane giant slide has reopened in Detroit at Belle Isle State Park. In 2022, the slide made headlines and got a mention on Jimmy Kimmel's show and even inspired a song.
Is that the one that looks like Rainbow Road?
It's that thing. I can't remember. So Pod Friends, my husband is from Detroit, and I feel like I know he's been to Belle Isle, but I don't know if he's ever been down the slide. I'll have to ask him. But it's the slide that went viral because when people go down, like it's like it's just very dangerous.
Oh, it's like Action Park water slide kind of.
Oh my God, Action Park, I can't.
Oh my God.
And then this says Meet Crush, the rare orange lobster diverted from dinner plate to aquarium by Denver Broncos fans. The downtown aquarium in Denver has a new resident, a rare orange lobster who was rescued from a shipment of crustaceans delivered to a Red Lobster restaurant in Pueblo, Colorado.
I'm sorry, what? Okay, orange lobster.
Yeah, there he is.
I mean, he just looks like a lobster. I mean, red and orange are not that far off. So what?
And Red Lobster, it's funny because when I was painting...
Orange lobster.
When I was painting my room, I was listening to an audiobook called Last Night at the Lobster. And I typically don't... I know I'm going to get shit for this. I do not like to read books because I have terrible ADHD, especially with reading. And I'm a speed reader. So the way that I read, and I saw a meme about this recently, and I was like, holy shit, this is me. So the way that I read is very unconventional. I pick up keywords and I build around it. So like if a sentence says like, the island was on fire, I'll just see island fire. Got it. Yeah. That's how I read.
Same.
So sometimes I miss things and I get impatient. So like audiobooks are my jam because, you know, it's like a podcast. So this book, Last Night the Lobster, is about a Red Lobster in like Connecticut or something. And it's their 2 last days before they shut down and everyone goes to Olive Garden. And it's just a cute little story and like about the people that work there and whatnot. But they were talking about the lobsters in the tank and they're like, what are we going to do with them? Because Red Lobster is closing. And this was written in like probably 2008. So it was like they predicted the future about Red Lobster.
Weird.
So I remember as a kid, like in my eyes, Red Lobster was like fine fucking dining. And in Connecticut, they had so I'll never forget West Norwalk Road. And there was a karate school, Mr. Lee's, that my brother went to. and next door was the restaurant. And when we first moved to that part of town, it was a Chi-Chi's. And do you remember Chi-Chi's Mexican?
No.
Okay, Chi-Chi's was a Mexican chain. I'm trying to think what you could even, like Don Pablo's,
Okay.
like that. So it was a Chi-Chi's, and then it changed to Red Lobster. And we were like, oh my God, we're fancy dining.
We're fancy.
Keep in mind, I grew up in Norwalk, Connecticut, which is a seaport town, meaning
there should have
this
been
is
all
like-
kinds of good seafood.
this is like if you lived in New York or Chicago and you ordered like Domino's when you've got all these local pizza places. So I don't know. Now as an adult, I'm like, why the fuck do we go to Red Lobster so much when we literally get all these
because
like,
it's the
homegrown-
brand recognition.
Yes.
Like you can trust a brand. You can't be like, Sammy's Fish House.
But that's where you get the good shit. But I remember thinking like the lobsters in the tank. I'm like, wow, when I'm rich, I'm gonna have a lobster tank. It was like so cool to like look at it.
We had one in one of our grocery stores growing up. I think it was in the
I
Winn
feel like Winn-Dixie. I was gonna say
or Schwegmann's.
I know Winn-Dixie had lobsters for a hot minute for
Yeah.
sure.
But I also grew up in like a seafood town.
Same,
Like
yeah.
one of my serving jobs when I was still in high school, people would be like, "What do you think of this?" And I'm like, "I don't touch that shit." But other people says it's good, and they're like, "How are you working here?" It's like, "I'm
I
nice."
don't know. That was like, oh my God.
I'm nice.
That was like when I bartended. I bartended for a very short time at this bar downtown called, oh my God, what was it? Hush. It was right by where Mary's is. And so it was a craft cocktail bar, which I love me a good craft cocktail, but when you are weeded, craft cocktails are the
Oh
worst.
God!
When you
Let
have
me
like
slap this leaf so you can get the right
slap
flavor.
the leaf, slicing jalapenos where you don't have time to wash your hands. It's a mess. So I cannot stand Bloody Marys. Bloody Marys to me are
You know what I
fucking
think of
disgusting.
every once in a while?
When
Makes me
you
laugh.
when I got tricked at Mary's.
Yeah, but it wasn't tricked. You tried to take somebody else's beverage and
No.
you took a big old sip of it and then almost died.
Let me explain to everybody. We were at Hamburger Mary's and we were at the bar sitting, and in the service area there was a drink sitting there and it looked like a Mai Tai.
For the record, we used to perform there every
Yes.
Friday and Sunday, so we were there a lot.
Yes. So it looked like a Mai Tai. I asked the bartender. I did ask. I said, is this a dead drink? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, great, cool. It looks like a Mai Tai. So my dumbass didn't even think to smell it.
Big old gulp.
Or, and it was a Bloody Mary. So
It was a spicy Bloody Mary.
oh God.
She don't do
oh,
spicy.
So gross. So when I worked at this bar, you were required to taste every single drink you made. So you'd have to do the straw. So there was Bloody Mary on the menu, and it also had like blue cheese stuffed olives, and I can't stand olives. I love blue cheese, but I can't stand
Bring out
olives.
the olives.
Bring out the olives. So I'd have to stuff the olives with blue cheese, and I was like, "Ugh," the smell of the brine, like how people can drink dirty martinis.
It's like liquid salt. I don't understand.
That, and the thing is, like, for me, when I drink, I love a refreshing drink. That's why I love tiki drinks. That's why I love wine. I love like refreshing stuff, right? And to me, a Bloody Mary, it's like, I don't want to fucking drink marinara sauce with vodka in it.
I mean, when you say it like that.
It's what it is.
I mean, maybe if it was served warm, I might like it.
No. Mm-mm.
Because you know I love me a red sauce. Like, I'm a red sauce.
But when I talked
Connoisseur.
about tomato soup earlier, you kind of made a face. Tomato bisque. Do you like tomato bisque?
I don't like tomato soup.
Okay. So there's a difference between tomato bisque and tomato soup. Tomato soup is the watery Campbell's. It looks like water. Bisque is a thicker consistency where it's like you're essentially eating a thinned out red sauce.
Oh, well, then I could fucking probably go ham on that.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm
So,
like, bring out the garlic bread.
and that's what I did in the airport lounge. It was tomato bisque, and they had croutons. So I literally just like loaded croutons into the soup and let them soak for a little bit.
Oh, my God.
Especially when you're drinking. Soak
So
it right up.
when I first moved here to Florida and I was on my Disney College program and I worked at the Disney Quest, we had a cheesecake factory on the 5th floor. So that's where I would go get my lunch. I would literally get red sauce in, they weren't bread sticks, they were like rolls, but it was
Okay.
like little rolls and red sauce. And that would be my lunch almost every day.
I could
and
literally
I could
eat-
still do that to this day.
I was going to say in middle school, we had Pizza Hut pan pizzas, but it was just like cheese. And then we also had breadsticks with
Wait,
marinara.
like- In your school?
It wasn't like an actual Pizza Hut.
Bougie.
But like in the cafeteria, we had a slush puppy machine. And they would, I think it was like every other day they would have Pizza Hut. So it was the personal pan cheese pizzas or the breadsticks. It was $3.50.
That seems expensive for 1812.
Probably back then. But I'm telling you, like Pizza Hut breadsticks,
Oh no, there
marinara, I could eat every day.
It is
And I
something
did.
about that zest stuff.
Yes.
Like it's like a buttery prep thing. Because I used to work in a pizza restaurant way back in the day, so I know a little bit of things. But like what they would just I'm sorry, just punched my dog in the face. But when they brush that shit, it is so good. Like their pizza, definitely diarrhea, but those breadsticks are so
absolutely,
good.
And so, oh my gosh, what were we talking about?
Everything.
Shit, we were talking about.
We're talking about school lunches,
No, but we were talking about something. It was
Red
like
Lobster,
Red Lobster.
freeing lobsters.
God bless
We're so
America.
good at this.
Yeah, we're very good. Yeah, right. So yeah, Red Lobster for the seafood lover
Oh
in
my
you.
god, no.
All right, here's another one. No kidding. King Charles III bestows royal title on rare golden goat breed. Get it, kidding, goat. King Charles III has bestowed a royal title on a rare golden goat breed. From now on, the breed known for its connection to the island of Guernsey will have the special title of Royal Golden Guernsey Goat. That sounds
sounds
a vocal
delicious.
Sounds like a vocal warm up. Royal Golden Guernsey Goat. Royal Golden Guernsey Goat. Royal Golden.
Have you ever had goat?
I've had goat cheese.
No, I've had goat.
Like curried goat? Mm-hmm. I've never had it. I've also never had oxtail,
I've had oxtail too.
which that's another, like, give my black card away. The older I get, I was also talking to Lindsay about this last night. The older I get, the less meat is my jam. Like, I still love chicken, and bacon will always be the love
God.
of my life. I had bacon this morning from work. It was so good. So those type of meats, but like steak, burgers.
see.
I'm like, ugh.
Well, no, I can throw down on a burger. I love a good burger, but like filet mignon, I could give two shits about filet.
Yeah.
But like, oh, I have this steak. I'm like, great. I'd rather have chicken
It
nuggets.
also makes me feel terrible. Like meat, like last year, Lindsay and I went to a birthday at Fogo de Chao, which is hilarious because she's a vegetarian. But they have a great salad bar. I thought I was gonna die going to Fogo de Chao because it's like Texas Day Brazil.
I was
So
just
it's
about to bring up
meat on
Texas
meat
Day
and meat
Brazil.
and meat and meat and meat and meat.
And then you get the meat
sweats.
sweats.
I had to pull over like twice to run into bathrooms. It was a nightmare. I was like,
gross.
I can never do this much. And like, don't get me.
That was a
Oh my goodness. Same. He was like, I hate meat. It tasted great, but it's almost like I wish I could just like chew it and spit it out just to get the taste.
It is so much work to chew a steak. I'm
It
like, I
Every
don't
now-
know how old people with fake teeth do it. Buddy, quit yawning.
Every now and then, I might like. I'll go to Sprouts and get like they have this like little steak and it comes with like asparagus and mushrooms, garlic seasoning. So like I might throw that in the air fryer, medium rare, but it's really small. But like my brother will eat like porterhouse steaks.
Ugh, gross.
And like that's a lot of work. And also it's like what's that restaurant at Disney? Le Cellier in France. So Le Cellier is a very popular restaurant at Epcot and it's a steakhouse.
Side note, are we still going on the 16th?
Yes. Or 13th.
13th.
Yes.
It's a Friday.
Yes. Friday the 13th.
Wait,
What?
is it?
Yeah.
But the 17th is a Saturday.
Stand by.
We're going to go watch our friend Lindsay, who was on
Sing
our
with
last
Tiffany.
episode, Sing with Tiffany.
Yeah, Friday the 13th.
Then what the day is fucking 17th?
It's
Oh,
the 17th.
August. Oh, September.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking August. Oh, shit.
So my ex, for his birthday one year, he was like, I really want to go to Le Cellier. And like, I've always wanted to eat there. And I'm like, out of all the fucking places in Orlando for your birthday, you want to go to Le Cellier, but whatever, we went. There is nothing worse. I mean, I take that back. There's probably worse things, but eating a fucking steak meal and rolls and heavy food and then going into 80-degree theme park weather after, trash. 0 out of 10. It was
That
awful.
is a different part of hell I'm not trying to
Awful.
visit.
Because that's the thing. Like when I go to theme parks, like I'll eat like a little personal pizza maybe
A
or
pretzel
whatnot.
from a stand,
Yeah,
call it a day.
but it's like I fucking, and I was like, oh, this will be fun. Man, it was miserable because you're full. It's hot. Oh, no, never again. I mean, it was delicious, but no,
thank
never
you.
again.
It's like that time we went to the Garden Grill with Ginger.
Oh.
And I didn't realize what it was, and I had a handful of French fries and 2 beers, and my tab was $85.
Jason and I still talk about how mad and we weren't mad at Ginger. Like,
No,
not at all.
No, but had I known, I would have
Me,
eaten
us
more.
too. We paid for Jason and I was $200.
Yeah.
And it was food. Okay. I don't need to explain Garden Grill if you're listening, probably, because you know it's a restaurant at Epcot. So the views were great. I like that it rotated and you saw stuff and Chippendale, yay. But I'm like, this is shit my mom makes. Like, no
Yeah.
joke, it makes it better. Like fried chicken and all these other things. I'm like, this
It
is
is basic ass food.
if it was, like for instance, Ohana at the Polynesian. That is like Texas de Brazil, but a little bit lighter. Like they've got chicken and all these other things, but it's like
That's when they cook it on the table, right?
No, they bring it out to you like Texas de Brazil,
Oh.
but it's not as heavy. So like that, I'm down with. Hoop-de-doo review is.
I have never
chicken.
been.
Oh, we gotta go to Hoop-de-doo.
I want to go so bad.
We went, Jason and I. It was his birthday, and we were staying at Fort Wilderness, and so we at Hoop-de-doo, you get unlimited beer and sangria, and I think wine maybe. So we were just throwing back, and we were so drunk because we were staying there. And so we were on the bus going to our little cabin, and we were with our roommate at the time, Leah, and a couple other people. So Leah is fucked up. She is fucking wasted. So we're on the bus, and the bus is quiet, and she looks at me. She goes, Heather, how old were you when you figured out that Santa wasn't real? Keep in mind,
There's children on this bus.
there's a lot of kids on the bus. And poor Jason is just like,
What month was this? When was his birthday? When?
December.
Okay, so it was around Christmas. I was like,
But yeah, it wasn't like July. Like, hey, so Santa Claus. She was like, how old are you? And I was like, I still believe in Santa. She's like, no, you don't. I was like, Leah, shut the fuck up.
oh my God.
These poor kids. So, side note, how did you find out that Santa wasn't real? I have a great story for how I found out.
I think I just found the gifts in my mom would wrap them, and she was very good at the wrapping. She was very good, very clean. But then I figured out her whole system because she would wrap things but not label them. But what she would do is she would find like a little corner and she would write an S or a G or a C or an L. And so I had to like look around, and that's when I figured there was
Oh my God.
nothing.
The way I figured out Santa wasn't real was because it was Christmas Eve, and we did the whole like, oh, you got to go to bed, so Santa, blah blah. So we go to bed at like 8, 9 o'clock. I can't remember how old we were. We had to have been like Mikey's age, maybe like 8, 9, 10. Glenn and I. So I woke up in the middle of the night because I heard laughing, and I was like, what's happening? So it was coming from our basement. And so
I would never respond to laughing from a basement.
But I knew it was my parents' laughter. Like, it'd be different if it was like, oh, fuck that. I'd be like, guy. But it was my parents. Like, I knew it was them. And I was like, what's so funny? I want to know what's funny. So I get out of bed, and our basement, the way it was set up was we had, so our house had a den. And we had like a living room, then we had a den. So the den, you would go around the corner, and the basement stairs were there, but there was a gate on the basement stairs. So I guess like babies didn't fall down, whatever. So I was like standing at the gate, like a jail cell, and I saw my parents drinking wine, and my dad was like, should we say this one's from Santa? I can't wrap this. And my mom was like, yeah, let's say it's from Santa. And then like the next day, Christmas, I see one of the things, and I was like, where's this from? Oh, Santa brought it. And I was like, So that's how I discovered, just like how I discovered the Tooth Fairy wasn't real, because I wanted to play dress up in my mom's jewelry box and found all her baby teeth.
Why did she keep them?
She said the Tooth Fairy gave them back to her. Cora had an excuse for everything.
Oh my God.
Everything. And I was like, Mom, what is this? And she's like, well, the Tooth Fairy knew how much I loved you guys. And I said I wanted to keep these as memento. And so she let me have them. And
That's some Linda Belcher shit right there.
But can I tell you how traumatizing it is when you go to look for earrings and you see molars?
Yeah. Oh my God. No.
But the Easter Bunny never really, once I put 2 and 2 together with the Tooth Fairy and Santa, I was like, okay.
Yeah, but we just kept pretending. Like, I'm like, yeah, Santa. I forget. Like, I never admitted that I knew.
Yeah.
But I also had a brother who was 4.5 years younger than me. And then there is a video somewhere on the old school VHS of my brother looking out our van window talking about the gifts that he sees in Santa's bag and who they're there for. He's like, oh, I see one. Oh, there's one for you, Cassie. There's one for you.
Like,
I'm like, okay.
I know better than this. Yes.
I'm like, but I'll keep your dream alive.
Yes.
And now we're both bitter and jaded. It's great.
All right, let me see if there's like one or two more stories. Let's say. This nearly 10-foot Gatsby sub is made by a South African restaurant with a taste for the super. What? A South African restaurant and bar has served up a sandwich that's nearly 10 feet long.
It's
what
excessive.
is a Gatsby? I don't even want to know.
It's a great sandwich.
The other headline: his brother was found dead. His mother was arrested. Then this baby was found crawling by a highway.
Come on, Casey Anthony.
A Louisiana sheriff says a 1-year-old boy survived 2 days of sometimes stormy weather before truck drivers spotted him crawling along a roadside. Baby's day out.
That's fucked up.
Milo noticed.
Like, come on, Meth County. Like, what the fuck?
That baby's a survivor.
I'm a survivor.
What's the
I'm
Reba
not
song?
gonna give
Works
up.
2 jobs as a single baby.
Works 2 jobs. Isn't that the theme song for her show?
Yes. All right, let's see what else we got.
You know, she was my first concert ever.
Reba? Oh, mine was the Spice Girls.
And I remember her coming out in a full taxi
The
cab.
dogs.
The dogs are just looking at the fire.
That's so.
They're like, that's wrong.
Look at them. Look
They're like, I think they're
at
impressed.
the cat too. They're like, oh, we did that. TikTok famous parrot breaks world record for identifying objects. A TikTok famous parrot from guess where?
Ooh.
Guess where the parrot's from?
Florida.
Correct. Earned a Guinness World Record by successfully identifying 12 objects in 3 minutes.
What's the name
What?
of the bird? Like, I feel like I've seen this video. There's a bird I follow.
Apollo.
Yes. I have followed him. And he is a talkative little motherfucker. And he's like, oh, drive safe. Oh, kiss, kiss. Like, go groceries. Like, oh, it's insane.
Wallaby on the this is a better site. Wallaby on the loose visits golf course.
What was
a
Rocco
wallaby
doing?
caused a stir when it turned up somewhere far from its native home, a golf course in England. Was it Rocco? Was it Rocco? Was it
Rocco's
Wallaby? Yeah.
modern
Spunky. Firefighters hoist deer out of a hole on a Wisconsin college campus. Look at it.
Oh, that's so sad. You know, I saw a video once of this farm people rescuing a sheep that fell into like a crevice.
Oh, bubs.
And so they pull it out and it immediately jumped right back in. Face first. Like, I'm like, you were a dumbass.
I can't. Thieving seagull snatches man's wallet in grocery store parking lot.
That
Yeah.
tracks.
I'd be so heated.
That tracks.
Okay, let's see what else.
So growing up, my dad is an avid golfer. And then as punishment or whatever, we often had to go along with him and sit in the cart with some other stranger
Ew.
and occasionally get to drive just so my dad could play and keep me and my brother
Alive.
at odds.
Yes.
But they were known for their big red squirrels, which were like big squirrels.
Yeah.
And they would come straight up into your cart and steal your shit. They were like, oh, you thought the Snickers was for you? Just kidding. Or birds would fly by and grab full bags of popcorn and just go off.
Washington, D.C., they've got big black squirrels. That's my stripper name also. Okay, what else we
Black
got?
squirrel looking for a nut.
Cat with jar stuck over its head, rescued in Texas. Okay.
That's not weird.
Yeah, it's not.
It's unfortunate.
What else we got? World's longest shoelace. Okay, I'm going to test you really quick.
Oh, let's do it.
If you're at McDonald's and you order French fries and there's one that's extraordinarily long, what do you call it?
I'm sorry.
A long French fry. What do you call it? It was like when we were kids, it was like a thing. There's a name for a loomster.
What? A loomster?
I was trying to explain this to Jason the other day because we were eating French fries and there was a long one. I was like, oh shit, a loomster.
The fuck is a loomster?
It's a long, hold on, let me get the definition. McDonald's came up with it. So let's see if I can find it.
Now I want McDonald's.
Urban Dictionary says the one mutant French fry that's freakishly long in comparison to all the other fries in the bag. Yeah, loomster. See, like that's a loomster.
I feel like that's marketing gone wrong. Like, what? Somebody did a shit job of cutting up the French fries, and now we just give it a name and go with it?
Loomster. I remember that as a kid. We'd be like, we got a loomster. And I said it, and Jason was like, what the fuck is a loomster?
Fuck is a loomster?
So apparently just Glenn and I are the only 2 people in the world who know what a loomster is.
That tracks. That tracks. You
I was
guys
fully
are-
expecting for you to be like, yeah, I got this. No.
No.
Bloomster.
No. You know how we talked about, like, you got a Red Lobster and you thought your town was fucking fancy?
Yeah.
Wendy's shut my town down. It shut the highway down. The Wendy's had a line down the highway.
Wendy's was the first place, because like my mom would make cheeseburgers as kids, you know, like barbecue, whatever. But like Wendy's was the first fast food burger I ever had. And I still to this day stand by that Wendy's has the best burger.
I don't know. I think every time I have Wendy's, I have chicken, but
I'm going to go to Wendy's on the way home now.
okay. Have you ever heard of, and I know the answer to at least one of these,
Oh, God.
Ward's hamburgers, Wards.
Mm-mm.
Ward's.
Mm-mm.
Fucking delicious. What about Indy's?
Uh-uh.
Oh my God. Indy's wasn't even a full building. It was like, you know how you see those,
Like walk-up
those,
places?
it's kind of like a Checkers,
Uh-huh.
but a little smaller.
Okay.
Where you have to just go
Checkers.
through and get it. But the fucking best milkshakes ever, man.
God.
God.
Have you ever had In-N-Out Burger?
I have not.
It's not worth the hype. Everyone's like, it's so good.
not.
It's no different than going to like Five Guys or like
Well,
Shake
I
Shack.
wasn't impressed with White Castle.
No, well, first of all, I cannot eat White Castle. Literally, it lasts in my digestive system for probably 1.5 government minutes.
Yeah.
It's like literally every time.
That's
I've tried
kind
it
of the benefit. It's like,
so-
it's good, and now I don't have to keep the calories on.
oh my God, White Castle is probably the worst body reaction out of all the fast food for me. It's awful.
Do you know what I've gravitated more as I got older, and it shouldn't work out this way?
Yeah.
Taco Bell.
Listen, when I was a kid, I did not like Taco
Me
Bell.
neither.
I was like, I will never go there. And now as an adult, it is one of my probably top 3. Like Arby's will always be number 1.
It's
Always.
still baffling.
Always.
Baffling.
Actually, I take that back. I think Taco Bell might be number 2. Because it's great for like if you don't want to eat super heavy. Like if I don't want a burger, I can get like a chicken, like the cantina. Have you had the cantina?
I have. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so good.
I miss the quesadillas.
Oh yeah.
I love the quesarito. Give me all that chipotle, all the chicken.
And you know they sell Taco Bell sauces in the store now.
They do. We have
I
some in
get
the
them.
fridge.
Yes, I get them.
You know,
all the
I
time.
just had my first Taco Bell sauce like 2 weeks ago.
What?
I had never had it. What? Because I didn't trust it. I was like, and you know, I love all things spicy.
Oh yeah,
Like,
their sauce is no
Lord.
fucking joke.
No, it's not that bad. Please.
for me.
It's white people
My
hot.
spiciness factor gets worse as I get older and makes me so sad because I used to love spicy food, but I can't do it anymore.
Oh my God. The
It's
amount
terrible.
of jalapenos that I got on my Wawa sub yesterday.
Even like buffalo stuff, I'm like, well, I'm gonna regret this in about an hour or so, but it just happened. So.
I am the guy who burned my esophagus with hot sauce and had hiccups for 11 days. So
That's right. Oh my God.
I don't learn.
I learned. Well, that was fun. This is also called Heather is Still Suffering. I don't know if never got jet lag the whole time, but like we'll get into what I was doing in Ireland, but my anxiety was fucking destroying me, and I feel like I'm still recovering.
Oh, yeah.
It's like after
Coming
you,
down.
Yeah, it's like after you get a tattoo, sometimes like not this one I was fine. But when I was getting my bigger pieces, I would be so the entire time, like hours, just like on
That's-
edge, that when I would get home, it was like I felt like I got hit by a bus because I was just like,
That's how I feel about auditions. Like,
yes. Anything big like that afterwards, it's just like
it just haunts you.
yeah, and you're drained, and it's like I feel like I just ran a marathon and I didn't do anything but recite
Sit.
a monologue or sit while someone poked a needle in my skin. Well, that was strange, weird news
And
lots
lots
of
of other
updates
things.
and random stuff. So we will be back next week unless the world explodes,
Which I'm
could
hoping.
happen.
Crossing my fingers. Kill the
But
bees.
but not by a hurricane. I don't want flooding. I don't want all of that. I just want, we've talked about before, just a meteor. An all-ending meteor. I don't want a nuclear winter. I don't want any of
You
that
want a
shit.
one and
I
done.
want it one and done. Just hit
One
it.
and done.
We all go away.
One and done. You know, I used to fuck around with hurricanes. Like, we'd have hurricane parties and things
Yeah.
like that. And then Katrina destroyed my entire hometown.
You have that. And also, like, I'm a homeowner now.
Oh,
like,
God.
when I was renting, I was like, ugh, destroy everything. Bye. But, like, as a homeowner, it is terrifying, especially trees. Like, our neighbor's
Oh, yeah.
tree
You have a giant tree in your
on
front yard.
Sunday fell, like, uprooted, fell. If his car had been in the driveway, it would have been destroyed.
Whoa.
Yeah, we
Did
heard
you have,
this
like, a
boom.
tornado?
I don't know. We heard this boom, and we just thought it was like a generator blowing. We're like, oh, whatever. And we come up the next morning, we're like, oh, Maurice's tree. There it is. Yeah, but he has
That's terrifying.
it's beyond.
Because when you see
terrifying.
big trees uprooted, that means like is there a
bad.
tornado that just popped down for nothing. Like
Yeah.
somebody
so-
showed me the other day. We were watching the weather at work or whatnot, and it got crazy stormy out of nowhere. And he pulled up this app, and it says, "Oh, this shows you where all the lightning strikes are." Let me tell you,
Oh, God, so
that
many.
thing looked like no whammies, no whammies, no whammies. Like it was just lit up left and right, blinking left and right. I was like, lightning capital of the world. Here we are.
We flying from Toronto to Orlando. We flew through a little bit of a storm, and the lightning was way too close to the plane. I was like, I'm glad I'm not in this window seat. I'm just gonna pretend like I didn't see it.
Yup.
The lady next to me was like praying, and I was like, here we go. This is, but also every single time I get on a plane, I think I'm gonna die.
Well, that's Final
Every single
Destination. So
Like take
look
off.
at the little baby. It's not going to take. God's not going to take
my
down this little baby on it. None.
Takeoff and landings are so mentally exhausting for me because like when you take off, you have to adjust the plane so it feels like you're falling.
Mhm.
And I'm also scarred by an episode of The Simpsons where Marge or someone was scared of flying and they're like, it's fine. And they were looking out the window at the airport and you see this plane take off. And
Oh,
then
yeah,
it
yeah,
goes, so, because they say a good majority of plane crashes happen during takeoff.
Well, I didn't need to know that. Here I
Landing
am
is-
worried about the landing. 'cause-
Landing's also scary because they're trying to lower the plane, and every now, like it goes low, and then every now,
and then you hit all those bumps, the whole thing. Like before you even get down, you're like, "What? Did we just hit a flock of deer? Like what is going on?"
Yeah,
That's me
turbulence.
always gripping the
Yeah.
armrest for every landing.
and my mom was a flight attendant for almost 20 years, and she said that she flew 40 hours a week for 20 years. That's a lot of fucking flying. And she said there was only one time in that whole time she thought they were gonna die because they had an air pocket and they were falling for like 5 seconds, which on paper 5 seconds is quick. But
That's-
if you think about 1,000, 2, like everything just like lifted up and then they were back to normal. They just hit an air pocket. I've been on a flight with an air pocket one time, but it was not that. It was maybe like a
I-
second and a half.
would scream.
Oh, the whole plane did. The whole plane. And I was sitting next to
I-
some random lady, and we both were like, what?
would scream.
It was terrifying. Terrifying. No, and kids are like, it's like the Tower of Terror. Fucking kids.
Yeah. Sure, kid. You're about to be the ghost.
Yeah, for real. But yeah, just too much. No. Until we get to coasting, like once you coast and hit the cruising altitude, I'm golden. Like I'm great. And going from Dublin to Toronto, that was a 7.5, almost 8-hour flight. And they turned, even though it was like the middle of the afternoon, they turned off all the lights in the plane and had everybody shut their windows. And they're like, nap time. So I was like, all right.
Oh my god.
And I sat next to a baby named Juliana. It was 4 months old from Dubai.
Mm.
4 months.
And she's probably richer than the rest of
Oh,
us.
absolutely.
From
And her
Dubai.
parents were very sweet, but I felt bad because they couldn't do anything. Because like anytime they would drink or eat, the baby would cry.
I would have grabbed the baby. I've been like, I'll hold it.
I almost did. I came this close to saying like, I'll hold the baby if you guys want to like relax or something. But I was like, no, I don't.
I've
wanna
done it
be
before
here.
for people
I
on the
came
plane.
So close because they had good energy,
I'm like,
and then I was like, I don't want to be there.
You need to go to the restroom. I'll hold your kid. I don't care.
So, but
I'm
they
not a
were
creep.
they were nice, and like, especially after like Mikey, I get it because like I've flown with Mikey a couple times and he was fine, but like I would feel terrible if he cried and like people are like, ew, it's like I gotta take a baby, whatever.
Yeah.
But I had no.
I hear adults crying too.
Yes,
So
I would. Oh my god, I would much rather have a baby crying than a smelly human or
Or
a
a Karen.
talkative human or some like any day. I will take a baby over a talker. So, and I didn't have any talkers, thank God. But all right,
So that was an episode.
we what do we want to do next week? Do we want to?
It's gonna be a surprise.
Yeah, surprise.
It's gonna be a surprise because we don't know. Let's be honest.
Surprise. So
So follow us on the socials.
yes,
Follow
at
us on the YouTube.
Heather and Steven Get Into. Watch this video. Tell your friends. Tell your family.
Tell everybody.
Yes. So
Like and subscribe. Donate some money.
hey.
Do all the things.
And that's it.
Until next time.
Bye. He was like, who are these people? Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Adios. Bye. Yes, Capital One. I know my payment's posted.
Mine too.
Didn't want to give you my money. Oh, you know what we should do another time now that I think about it? Read through Reddit, just like the homepage. So, like the homepage right now says, my cat is grossed out by me. And they're trying to figure out how to
Like how effective it is. So we're looking. Let's get into